Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Saturday, March 3rd, 2018. We're going to go over a couple things on SPACEWEATHER.com, actually to our space site. Taking a look at our current solar wind conditions. As you see in the yellow, solar wind speeds are hovering in the 325 to 330 kilometers per second with a high density of about 30.6 right now. Thanks, Mari. Taking a look at the KP indices, the flux today, we did see some minor activity out of AR 2700. That was Earth facing a few days ago. As you see now, it's on the far western limb of the sun, moving away. And I thought there was a new feature, but the KPs...
I have not added it yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm developing it and I have not done it yet.
Mari is constantly updating the site. I believe the KP indices was sitting right at about a 2.
Well, that on the website right now, the source, for whatever reason, the school hasn't updated it automatically, so
Gotcha.
I'm going to replace it.
Gotcha. Well, we appreciate the effort there. Looking at our star, I saw a couple of channels mention this as well earlier, and it looks like on the far eastern limb of our sun, it does look like there's a lot of activity out here. You can see the connections. It's pretty bright. So I guess we are in a sunspot watch. Ben was the first channel that I saw that made that observation, I should say. But other than that, not really looking at anything as far as coronal hole. There is one in the northern region, but nothing to affect us immediately. Keep our eyes on the possibility of the sunspot that we have forming on the far eastern limb. And again, you can definitely see there's a lot more. It's a lot brighter over here as it becomes closer to Earth facing. So AR 2700 went out with a bang, that's for sure. And we've covered a lot about Riley, but there's also a couple other places as well. That's what I want.
Well, you shouldn't have switched it, silly.
What?
This is right here.
Right.
The GS, if you want this.
Sorry about that, folks. In Canada, I wanted to mention this real quick because Riley has kind of stolen the headlines with the tremendous damage and destruction that Riley has brought. And we did a video earlier that was about 6 minutes long, and Mari put a lot of photos and a lot of video footage in it. So, and that's just from earlier in the day. So I can only imagine as they continue to clean up and the high tide continues to go in and out, I'm sure we'll see more damage. But I thought this was interesting to mention here in Canada. They were looking at they got a month's worth of snow in 40 hours. And this was, this is near the Calgary area. Now, this is normal weather for Canada right now, but I thought that this was worth bringing up just because of the fact that, you know, to get a month's worth of snow in 40 hours, and we do know how much snow that this area gets. And let's go ahead and see if they even tell us that. They got 10 to 15 centimeters of snow. It was forecasted to fall throughout the day. So this was nothing like what we saw with Riley, but it was a heavy snow. And it is late in the season. You know, technically March 1st is the meteorological first day of spring. So technically, if we went by that rule of thumb, we would be talking about, springtime storms. But right now, Old Man Winter has paid another month's rent for sure, as we're still seeing the heavy stuff falling in Canada, on the West Coast, and of course Riley. Guys, check out a couple of our videos that we did. We had some footage on the damage and the forecasting of Riley. I will say this, out of watching both AccuWeather and weatherchannel.com, their live coverage the reporting was great, the forecasting was right on. This was one of the storms that I thought that the Weather Channel covered well and didn't overhype it, kept it straightforward for a change. So I was impressed with the coverage of Riley and the accurate information and the forecasting that they did over there at the channel. So anyway, to look at tropical tidbits real fast as well, talk about here in the States again, we're going to be looking at another storm system. Right now it's winter weather or winter storm Quinn on the West Coast. It's already affected California, and it's continuing to snow throughout the Sierra Nevadas. And I'm going to stop it right here on Tuesday. Again, we're going to start seeing that heavy rain in the southern part of the country. Already, they've had a few dry days, but this right here is not going to help the efforts of their cleanup. So expect more flooding again early Tuesday, heading into Wednesday. And then once again on Wednesday, we see a low pressure system form up over Ohio, northeast Ohio. Move it further into Wednesday into Thursday. Stop it again on Thursday. Here we go. So we are looking at a potential another nor'easter, possible, not definite, but possible. And this time it looks like the coastal areas will pick up more snow than rain than last time. So add on more flooding, and then if freezing temperatures on top of that with snow. So the cleanup won't even begin to start really until tomorrow, Monday. And by the time Wednesday and Thursday rolls around, they're going to be digging out of another storm system. Again, this forms, the low pressure starts over northeast Ohio, and then into Wednesday, late day, a low pressure system forms just off the coast of the Carolinas, Virginia, into Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As we move further into the forecast, we could see it strengthening off the coast once again. So they'll be keeping their eyes on this going through Thursday. I mean, the Northeast looks to get pounded this time with snow. If these forecast models are correct, they're talking about lake effect snow here in Buffalo and western New York. The Lake Erie is only at 26% ice right now, and this is Friday, and they were talking about Friday and Saturday. But look, folks, that winter storm is still in the Northeast, in Maine, upper New York. So we're still seeing the effects from Winter Storm Quinn. And this is going into this is on Friday. By end of the weekend, from Wednesday till Friday, we're still dealing with the effects in the Northeast with Quinn. And then as we go throughout the day, Friday and Saturday, look how the snow just forms back over the Northeast. The lake effect kicks in once again, and the Northeast, Friday and Saturday, we get a quiet day at the end of the day on Saturday. Another low pressure system forms just beneath western New York. And then here we go again, early next week, Sunday night into Monday. More heavy rain into the south in the Ohio Valley. And this just continues, folks. Another low pressure off the coast again. We're looking at another crazy storm in a situation just as bad. Not as close to the coast, but this is 2 weeks out, so anything can change. So not one, not two, but possibly 3 nor'easter storms in the next 15 days. And that's just incredible. This weather pattern, it looks deceiving. It's quiet, and then it gets back up with moisture again.
It's like Thor says,
wave after wave. And then we start to see the West Coast once again build up with more moisture. It seems like, Winter Storm Quinn starts off in the West, and then Quinn kind of steals the show the rest of the way out, and we kind of, the West gets ignored here. But at the end of this forecast, we see large amounts of moisture in the Northwest and in Northern California. There's one system right there. So by March 11th, the same time that we're getting heavy rains to area that doesn't need heavy rains, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, we're going to have heavy rains and snow in the upper elevations on the northwest section of our country. And they get wave after wave. Wow. We're going to have to watch the Northwest. Starting on it looks like around the 10th of March, we get a dry out day. High pressure system is dominating the area. And then by Sunday, we see the system approaching. And here's one system. Here's two system. System number 3. This is by Wednesday. System number 4. System number 5 by the end of this forecast. So the West is definitely looking at a lot of moisture, a lot of rain. Yes, this is their rainy season, but hang on to your hats, folks. We have to let the forecast do its thing here, but the mudslides are definitely going to be a huge concern, especially in Northern California, mid-California. And just with that much rain coming in back to back to back like this, we've had a lot of attention, and still, this is 2 areas we've got to watch in the next 2 weeks. Is going to be the South, the Northeast, and of course the Northwest. And the Central Plains, you guys are kind of missing out on the party right now, which at this point there's more than enough to share. So I kind of hope this spreads out, but it doesn't look like this weather pattern is going to change anytime soon. It's going to be the Northwest, the East Coast, the Midwest, and the South. And just 2 large systems here by the end of this model run. Just 2 large systems on each coast. One exiting, one coming on. And that's the way it's going to be for the next several days. We get a few days off here before this next storm system. Things are winding down in the Northeast. They're still getting coastal flooding. But by early next week, Tuesday into Wednesday, we see another system on the coast forming. Snow begins to fall in the Northeast. The winds pick up again. And we are looking at, by Thursday, a full-on winter storm once again in the northeastern part of the United States. And we'll just have to keep our eyes on this one. Still, I think it's a little early to identify what kind of snowfall we're going to get with this one. We're almost 7 days out on the storm, but there's plenty to keep our eyes on. So let's go over here real fast to watchers. And I wanted to take a look at, Mari actually brought this one to my attention today. We had a volcano eruption. Again, Winter Storm Riley is dominating the news. Getting more unrest from another volcano. Nothing major, but just something to keep your eyes on again. Another volcano that's awakened. Basavi, I believe is what it is. It's 200,000 year. It was dormant for 200,000 years. Now it's coming awake again. We had one in Japan right after that as well become awake. And now we're talking about one in Alaska that are showing signs of possible activity at this. Now, there was an explosion. The surface temperatures, I guess, were elevated. And it looks like several times they were elevated over the past week. So there is definitely a little bit of action going on. Very minor, very small, but definitely the beginning of a possible awakening of this volcano as well. And last time I checked, we had about 36 volcanoes that are actively going off right now. And that's about average during, especially during a minimum, they start to become a little bit more frequent. So nothing too off the charts yet, but we've had a couple decent sized explosions. Mari, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm just chatting away here.
How's everybody in the chat?
We got all our happy subs. I love all you guys. It's so great to, just chat with you here on our live streams and have you come in, and it's like you're in our home and we're all family discussing weird weather.
Well, beyond weird weather.
It's hard to keep up with it all.
It is.
In the chat, I was asking Starman about the food supply issues, because if you read what's going on in the UK, there's certain routes. People can't get to grocery stores. Some grocery stores are sold out. There's looting. I'm like, is it as bad as what I'm reading? And he said it's only specific areas. It's not widespread. So that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, but there are parts that are kind of cut off right now, too.
Yeah,
so
it's worrying for people. And that brought us to, not to underestimate these storms. Hopefully more people realize this weather is pretty serious, and to be prepared, no matter what.
And that makes me want to look, too, at the overall look from the Atlantic heading over towards our friends across the pond. And, every storm that we have, they get a taste of as well. And I'm concerned about... it doesn't let me do it on that map. Okay. I'm concerned about Riley, its direction. If Starman's in the chat, I wouldn't mind... keep an eye on what he says in this answer, but I was curious to know, are you guys expecting to feel any effects from Riley? This storm is so big, I can't imagine that this low pressure... So let's see if we can try to find it here. See if we see it come into play.
Starman chimed in. He said the 10th they see a possible snow event again. I'm not sure if that's the same system or not. We can have a look.
It very well possibly could be. If he's talking about the 10th, it's probably the one that we're getting around the 7th. So that system. But boy, look at this.
Where does Riley fizzle out?
Look at this.
Yikes.
Here's your snow event right here. It starts off as rain, and as it progresses throughout the weekend, wow, it really gets pretty bad here. It's a pretty big snow event, but right behind it is rain, so that has to be a little reassuring that hopefully you guys are about done with this odd cold weather that you're experiencing. It looks like some temperatures kind of right normalcy. Look at the size of that low pressure system just rotating around. My goodness. I'll tell you one thing about these storms, and we're in the very beginning of this grand solar minimum. And I've always been a fan of the weather for so many years. I love watching radar. I like watching the patterns and observing. And the one thing that I can tell you is that I've never seen the storms as big as they are. I've never seen, the effect and how big some of these storms get. And the reach this weekend, Riley, the nor'easter, the winds were reaching all the way down into Florida. So, as time goes on, if this is just the beginning, I'd hate to see where we're sitting at in about 10 years from now. And that's what's really alarming to me, is that we're seeing storm systems that we've never seen before. Here's another topic I wanted to bring up too, and maybe someone in the chat who's watching can chime in on this. I think that there's something to the snow over the last couple of years, especially this year. How bright the snow is. If you're in your house and you look outside and then you turn back around and look in your house, it
is how blinding it is.
Yeah,
like it's like almost like it's reflecting, like it's just radioactive light or something. It's wild.
So I ponder the question:
blinding light.
Are the highly charged particles to blame for the snow being so bright, for it radiating, for it giving
either,
off like a charged, like it's glowing.
Either that or my eyes are getting cold or old. I go outside, and if it's snow on the ground and I walk back inside, if I'm not wearing, I have to make it a habit to wear sunglasses now. Otherwise, I'm truly snow blinded. And I don't remember being blinded like that by the snow, even as a kid. Oh, maybe if I was outside for a long time in the snow, but it happens to me and you. So maybe it could be just us. We're getting old, Jake.
It's blinding.
Or maybe there's something more to it. I don't know. There's so much to, spectrums that we don't see, sound, light, vibration. There's so much unknown. Who knows?
Starman shared something with me earlier about the tropics temperature and how they were down -12 last month, and it went slightly up to a positive of 0.03. So it didn't really move up, but the trend is down. So you have the tropics anomaly to watch, and then you have the Roy Spencer's lower atmosphere anomaly to watch as well, and that shows a decline as well. So I appreciate all the support that we get from you guys out there, our subs out there at Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. You guys do a lot of collaborating, and it's really appreciative when we have a positive focus out there on the topic, when people are really just trying to put two and two together. And maybe not all of us have all the answers, and that's where some of you kind of step up and help out and give us the answers instead of I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to relay is I'm just really impressed about how everybody comes together in our community to help each other out with information. I look at people like Starman as a reliable source for any kind of European news on the weather. He doesn't overdo it. He doesn't underdo it. I feel like his reports are right on all the time. So, Mari, did you want to add anything before we head out of here tonight?
No, I said my bit in the chat, and it's just good to get on live and see all the guys watching us. Oh my goodness, we got like over 100 people watching us right now.
Good to see everyone out there tonight.
Thanks for stopping by and tuning in.
All right, guys, we are going to sign out. We hope that you will like and share, subscribe. We'll talk soon.